Happy week 7, everybody. What is up? And welcome into the BettingPros NFL live stream alongside Pat Fitzmaurice. I'm Matt Perrault with you guys for the next 30 minutes or so, breaking down everything for week 7 in the NFL. This is a tough week. No Carolina, Cincinnati, Dallas, Houston, the New York Jets, or the Tennessee Titans. Pat, man alive, we're down 6 teams. How are you on this Sunday?
The bipocalypse, Matt. Doing well, man. It was a good college football Saturday for a change. So hopefully let's ride the momentum. I mean, I won an under that had a total of 30.5 points. I feel charmed. So let's hope the good momentum carries over.
Yeah, my Iowa brethren, I feel for you guys, man. That was a really tough call. I don't know what happened with that, with Cooper DeJean, and whether that was a fair catch signal or not. I was on the under 30.5 with you, so it didn't matter for us really, unless I guess Minnesota would have tried to score late in that game. So maybe there would have been extra points, but I think we were good whether that touchdown was called good or not. But man, that was tough. The police had to escort the referees out of Kinnick yesterday. Not good for that. Okay, before we get to the games, I want to ask you a big picture question, because as someone who obviously does a lot of fantasy work and looks at scoring, and scoring being, well, really important to fantasy football, what do you make of this season where we are seeing historic numbers of lack of offense? And the NFL doesn't want to highlight it. I keep on watching the NFL Network waiting for them to talk about this, but there was a stat that came out from last week where 25 teams scored 21 points or less. That's the most in the history of the NFL for a single week, where we've seen that futile of offenses across the board. What's your take as to why the NFL can't score?
Yeah, it seems like a little bit greater efficiency in the running game just in the last couple of years, and maybe a little less in the passing game. I mean, my theory on this, Matt, is that the preseason with the one shorter week, teams are really devaluing it. Like we're just seeing a slower ramp up for teams, and like I think the defenses get up to speed more quickly than the offenses do once the curtain goes up on the regular season. Just a theory. I don't know if that's true, but that's all I've been able to come up with.
It's not, you're the first person I've heard say that. I actually like that theory, that we have decided that preseason doesn't matter. So we're not really getting up to game speed, and we're playing catch up for the first month and a half to 2 months of the regular season. I mean, we're into week 7 here. So I think if this continues, I mean, you look at the board, it's unbelievable. I mean, this looks like Iowa football all over the place. You've got totals of 37.5, 38.5, 39.5, 43, 41, 37. We have one game with a total over 50, and that's on Sunday Night Football here at 52.5. And I'm not so sure that you should bet over in that game either, given what we've seen in prime time. So it's a remarkable thing to watch. And really, I mean, the product, you talked about college football. I mean, the product in college football right now is so much better than the product in the NFL. We're not seeing the unbelievable games or even the big upsets that we're used to seeing. I'll tell you right now, if you're on the Seahawks, everyone and their mom is on the Seahawks today in survivor pools. You want to talk about chaos. If the Seahawks lose today to the Cardinals, I mean, this would, oh boy. I mean, even I took it. I mean, I was like, take the Seahawks. There's nothing else. This board is complete crap for survivor. Not sure what else you're going to do but take the Seahawks. So I hope today's better. Let's start with a game that I'm not so sure it's going to be better. Atlanta's on the road at Tampa. Tampa lost at home last week to the Lions. This is a dome team on the road. Tampa is favored by 2.5 here in Vegas. Some books are seeing action, taking this from 3 down to 2.5. Most of the East Coast books still are at 3. 37 being the total here. I'm trying to find a Wong teaser for this for this live stream, Pat. This game might actually have to fall in it just because there's not much else out there in the early slate. Can Atlanta win the game?
I don't think they can, Matt, to be honest. I really like the Buccaneers here. If you look at some of the metrics, the Massey Peabody rankings have the Buccaneers ranked 17th and the Falcons 28th. In total DVOA, the Buccaneers are 15th. The Falcons are 26th. Like the Buccaneers are clearly the better team based on the metrics. They're at home. They they don't want to lay 2 straight eggs after kind of their offense no-showed against the Lions last week. And Baker Mayfield spoke frankly about that and how the effort was terrible. Like, I think they bounced back, and they're a better team than the Falcons. I'm not sure why the Falcons continue to get maybe more respect with the odds than they deserve. So I really like the Buccaneers here. And by the way, like, I mean, the under's gotten so low, I don't feel comfortable betting it. But the Buccaneers are 4-1 to the under this year, and the Falcons are 5-1 to the under this year. So this could be a rock fight, Matt. You talked about lack of offense. I mean, this game is might be the poster boy for lack of offense.
41 at open, 37 at Caesars currently from a total perspective. And I think you're absolutely right about this. I mean, this easily could be like a 17-13 type football game where we're going under. So not all that enjoyable to watch, although it is Tampa weather. So maybe it's warm and nice and you can stand up there and have a good time watching the football game, but not great football. Vegas on the road against Chicago. This is the who's playing quarterback again, Bull? Hoyer against a guy who was playing D2 football last year for the Chicago Bears. No starters in this game. This is wild to me. I'm going to tease this, okay? The number opened at 1. It's now 2.5, 2, depending on the book you're looking at. The total's 38.5. I got this at 3 last night for Chicago at home, and I teased it up to 9. Should the Raiders be favored on the road here with Brian Hoyer at the quarterback spot?
No, I'm suspicious of that too, Matt. I like your play here. I have not bet this game myself just because of the level of unpredictability in a game with 2 backup quarterbacks starting. And I guess you feel better about Hoyer, who at least has ample NFL experience versus the undrafted rookie free agent. But man, I feel like we should be getting an Iowa, Minnesota total on this game. Like 38, doesn't that seem a little tall to you, Matt? Like I'd smash the under on this one.
Yeah, to me, I guess the thought is they're going to feed Devontae Adams and maybe they could get some points there, or turnovers is the one concern, just given the 2 quarterbacks that we're watching play, that maybe we see either pick sixes or fumble returns or whatnot. So we get artificial points that way, neither defense or special teams touchdowns. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't think these offenses are going up and down. And that's one of my first prop bets here. I got Cole Kmet over 3.5 receptions at plus money. I just think this is going to be a binky for a guy who needs to find someone over the middle. And I mean, for Fields, that's what Clement's been. How do you feel about a tight end spot getting a lot of action for the Bears today?
I like that. When you get inexperienced quarterbacks, usually they are more comfortable throwing to the middle of the field than to the boundaries. And that would certainly play into Cole Kmet's hand. So I like that bet.
Yeah, it's plus money too. So you can grab on that if you want. That's my first prop on this. So as I said, plus 9 on the Bears. So that's the one side of my own teaser. The other we'll get to here in just 1 second. Cleveland, Indianapolis. This is the line movement game so far, where the news of Deshaun Watson being cleared for Cleveland now has taken this from a 2.5 point number to a 3.5 now, crossing 3. Browns are the play for the pros, but the total is 39.5. Opened at 42.5. I bet under 41. People are asking me, do you care that Watson's playing? I don't care that Watson's playing. I don't think it matters to me, because to me, I'm betting against the offense for the Colts, up against the Browns defense. Indoors, don't care. I don't think Indy scores. That's why I like the under. Browns win, though?
I think so, Matt. I locked in the Browns early in the week when they were -2. Nice. And I kind of had a feeling it was going to move in the other direction. I'm surprised like Deshaun Watson is prompting the sort of line movement we're seeing, because I don't know. PJ Walker wasn't bad last week and Watson hasn't been great, but I think I'd still be willing to take the Browns at 3.5. Like you, I think Indy is going to have all sorts of problems. We saw last week that Gardner Minshew is a limited quarterback. A lot of passing yards, but a lot of mistakes. And man, the Browns are just... This offense is this defense for the Browns is just so legit. They can stop the run. They can cover. They can get after the passer. Like, they are truly a fantastic defense.
Yeah. The only thing that I'd be with the Browns is that when you have a quarterback who is clearly limited with his ability to push the ball down the field, and he has said that, look, I can throw, it's not pain, the ball just doesn't come out the way it's supposed to, that one big hit on that shoulder could set him back. And then what happens with the Browns offense? So that's what kept me on the under versus coming on a side. I do like Cleveland run the ball against Indy, but Indy's defensive front's pretty good. So where they struggle is in the secondary. So this is a very curious game to me. I want to watch this because the Browns are a sneaky team in the AFC. Like what they're doing, that defense, you can ride that, in particular as the weather gets colder in November and December. They're going to be a tough team to face. They're going to be a difficult team to go up against. So I'm with you though. I like the Browns today as well. I do like the under in this game. 41 at 39. you're getting to a number that's going to start to get me a little bit not in love with it, but I still think the under's in play, even at 39 and a half. So this game is wild. We both have plays on this game, Detroit at Baltimore. I'm taking the Ravens. I know you like the under. 45 at open, 43 at most books, 43 and a halves are still out there. Number is up to 3 for the Ravens here. Look, I was talking to a friend of mine who is really a guy I respect a ton. And he said, look, if I was able to make a pretty sizable wager today, my favorite play is the Ravens to beat and cover against the Lions. Where are you on the Lions here? Because it feels like everyone's in love with this team at 5-1. 3-0 ATS on the road, but in the NFL, typically back-to-back road games will spell trouble.
We keep waiting for them to stub their toe, Matt, and it hasn't happened. But I tend to agree with you and your friend on the Ravens. Like, I don't have a side right now, and I don't know if I'm going to put money on a side, but I do lean the Ravens. I just wonder if the Lions can play really 2 strong road games in a row after playing so well in Tampa last week. And now they're coming to one of the hardest places to play in the NFL. Like, if they can win outright against the Ravens, I think that stamps the Lions as almost like legitimate Super Bowl contenders. But I do think it's a really tall order. And, I'm more inclined to go with the under, which is one of my favorite plays in this game of the year. Like, I don't know why it's this high at 43 points, considering that the Ravens are number 2 in defensive DVOA overall, and the Lions are number 3. Like, these are 2 terrific defensive teams. Maybe people have just not wrapped their heads around the idea. The Lions now have one of the best offenses in the best defenses in the NFL. Like, their D is legit.
And their offense is too. I mean,
Yeah.
on both sides of the ball, their offense is legit. Their defense is really good. I'm with you. I think the under is a good play. It's a little bit of a counterintuitive bet because I like the under and the favorite, which is a little bit different. Normally, like the dog and the underdog, or the favorite and the over. I like the favorite. I like the under. This could be like you talked about with Atlanta and Tampa. This also could be a rock fight with basically just whoever makes the one big mistake winds up winning this game. I'll take the home team. It could push at 3. If you find it 2.5, I like that even better for the Ravens, but I'll lay the 3 here. The other side of my teaser is I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. I got it at 7.5. It's 7.5 right now. I'm pulling it down to 1.5 and taking the Bills. The total went from 43.5 to 41. Look, Pat, I'm a Patriot fan. If the Patriots win this game and I lose this bet, I am completely and totally okay with this. Okay, I'm fine with donating the money to the books if I lose this. The Patriots are not winning today, right?
This seems like the perfect spot for you to tease this one down, Matt. Like, I think that's the exact right way to play this game. I mean, the Bills have won and covered against the Patriots in 4 straight. But don't you feel just like a little nervous about betting, if you weren't teasing it down, betting the Bills as more than a touchdown favorite in a game with a 40-point total? Doesn't that seem like that is a little scary? But for the Bills to just win outright, maybe like they have a more difficult time than usual. We saw them kind of get into a slog of a game with the Giants last week. But, man, it's hard to imagine the Patriots winning this. I really can't, Matt. So I think your play is the proper way to play this game.
My fear is 30-10. Like, the game goes under, but it's 30-10. I mean, I don't know how the Patriots score. Their defense is so banged up. They don't have a secondary. These are receivers who are going to run wild. That's the second prop bet that I like here. I like Josh Allen over 22.5 completions here against this Patriots secondary. You can get it at 21.5 at DraftKings and pay minus 140, or you can go to 22.5 and get minus 102. I just think Josh Allen's going to have free will of throwing the ball down the field, maybe not deep, but just either dink and dunk and just completion after completion against this Patriots defense. They can stop the run, but they can't stop the pass. Josh Allen today, how do you like this over 22.5 completions?
I like that one too. Yeah, I think that's a good percentage play.
And again, if you want to lay the juice, you want to go and say the number is 22 and that's, I'm scared of 23 and I want to go 22. Okay. But the only worry is that the game gets so out of hand that Allen is just handing the ball off because it's, again, 30-10 and they don't need to throw the football because it's a blowout. So that's the only fear with this prop bet. Otherwise, I don't know. This could be a big day for Josh Allen. I think.
Yeah. Well,
throwing the ball.
Matt, the one thing as Penthouse Cards brings up in our chat,
Yeah.
don't forget the weather in Foxborough today. It is going to be a little bit inclement. They're calling for maybe some precipitation and some wind, although I do tend to think the weather gets overplayed. I still think Allen is a pretty good bet to go over. What was it? You got to hit 22.
23 is what you get. But I mean, look, I'm from New England. It's 56 degrees in Foxborough right now with 13 mile per hour winds.
That's nothing.
In order for me to get worried about the weather, and I watched a couple of videos from friends of mine who were at the game, who are media members who are doing live hits outside of the stadium today. It shouldn't be a problem. I mean, this is not. Josh Allen has a very strong arm. He plays in Buffalo. He knows how to throw in the wind. Like I'm not concerned about that factor. To me, I look at 20 mile per hour sustained winds and gusts up to 30. That's when I start to pay attention and go, okay, maybe I'm playing the under like I did with Cleveland last week. That's exactly what they had. They had 20 mile per hour sustained winds and they had a gust up to 30. And the wind was, I mean, look, the missed field goal by the Niners, you could say the wind influenced that kick to the right. And that's why the kid missed the kick. So that's when I start looking at weather. Foxborough is not my, I don't have a concern for weather in Foxborough. I have more of a concern the Patriots defense being garbage. Washington against the Giants. Because this day is such a crap day, Pat, I'm actually really excited to watch this game. I want to see what Saquon Barkley and the Giants do here. The number is up to 3 for Washington. The total is down to 37. I mean, what happens here? Commanders go. You like Sam Howell to go into New York? They haven't won in New York since I think 2021 was the last time they won at MetLife.
Yeah, it's been a while, and the Giants won and covered both games against the Commanders last year. But then again, this isn't the same Giants team. They just have not been right. The offensive line banged up. No Andrew Thomas again this week. So while I don't have great confidence in the Giants, Matt, at the same time, I don't have a lot of faith in a Commanders unit that 2 weeks ago made the Chicago Bears look like a good NFL team. So I'm just not. I can't touch this game.
It's tough, right? It's just I have Saquon on my fantasy team, so I'm watching it for Saquon. That's about it. Just feed the rock to Saquon. I have no clue what to do with it. Although, I mean, from a Wong teaser perspective, if I gave the Giants 9 points, how would you feel about the Giants plus 9?
Oh man, still not totally secure. I feel like, man, there's such a wide range of outcomes for this game.
There's nothing that is going to make me feel good about this Wong teaser. Just FYI, there are all these games that qualify. There's nothing that's going to make me feel good. It's just either the Giants plus 9, the Atlanta Falcons plus 9, what would it be? Well, no, that's not going to qualify. That you tell me the Lions plus 9. Or I've already bet the Patriots. I've already teased the Patriots and the Bears. So it's not like, those qualify, but those are already played by me. So I can't play it again. I may be forced to play the Giants and the Falcons and just hold my nose and just get into a fetal position and hope these defenses don't get annihilated. To the late slate we go. Arizona's at Seattle, the biggest number on the board, 9.5 now for Seattle. The total was 44. It was 46.5. at the open. This is the Survivor special of the week. Everyone is on the Seahawks. Any chance the Cardinals shock the world today?
Oh man, like you, Matt, they are my ride or die in the 2 Survivor pools where I'm still alive. The Cardinals have now, after their start where they looked plucky in their first 3 games, they've lost and failed to cover in their last 3, and they've lost all 3 of those by at least 2 touchdowns. So their carriage has turned back into a pumpkin, no question. But is Seattle good enough to cover this tall a number? They've been pretty good, but certainly not one of the elites of the league. So, man, I don't want to touch this game. And, I'm just hoping Seattle ekes out the win straight up, gives me that Survivor pool advancement. But other than that, I'm not interested in betting either side of this one.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Just you can tease it if you want, but I don't know. Because 9.5, when the books go to 9 or 9.5, this is teaser protection, just so you guys know. This is what they're trying to do. So there's not a lot of resistance going from 7.5 to 9.5, except from a book perspective saying everyone's teasing this down. So they go to 9.5, whether there's bets on Seattle at 7.5, 8.5 or not, the teaser at 9, 9.5, that protects them. So anytime you see a 9.5, it's a number that should give you at least a little pause to go, okay, wait a minute, what's going on here? Why is this 9.5? Why isn't it 10? Why isn't it higher? It's mostly, or why isn't it lower? It's because of teasers. So yeah, this is a game. Everyone's going to tease this down. This will be in every teaser. If you can get this thing below 3.5, that's great, but you can't now at 9.5. It's 3.5. So Steelers on the road against the Rams. 44 a total. Rams laying 3.5 at certain books now as big money's come in here on LA. This could be a Cooper Kupp performance for the ages, could it not? I mean, how are the Steelers going to cover this guy today?
Yeah, I love the Cooper Kupp over on receiving yards, which last I saw was 91.5, but it's continued to creep up. I think you could take it all the way to 98, 99, and I'd still want to hit the over here. Yeah, like as disappointing as the Steelers have been, Matt, and I know this team undeniably has some flaws. Their record is better than their metrics. Pretty much across the board. The play calling of Matt Canada has been vanilla as can be. But I still have a great deal of faith in the Steelers and head coach Mike Tomlin to get them ready to play coming out of a bye. Maybe I have too much faith in the Steelers. It's cost me some money this year so far that I've had too much faith in them. But I do think they're going to put forth their best effort for Mike Tomlin coming out of the bye. I like the spot here. The Rams have been better than I thought they were going to be, but I will still happily take 3 or 3.5 if you can get it. I took it at 3. I wish I had waited, I guess, if you could get it at 3.5 in some spots.
Late money coming in here on the Rams. I'm on Jaylen Warren for his rushing attempts. You can get 6.5 at heavy juice at DraftKings. FanDuel's got it at 7.5 at -114. I'm comfortable all the way up to 9 or 10 carries here for him. I just think they're going to want to hold the ball. We've seen that Matt Canada does prefer Warren over Najee Harris for whatever reason. People say that Warren hits the holes harder. He runs with more energy. He seems to be a bigger play threat for whatever reason. I mean, what's going on with Najee Harris? This is almost like a fade on Najee more than a Jaylen Warren play.
Yeah, and then there were reports that during the bye week, like Najee tried to take some ideas to Matt Canada with how to like fix the running game, and Matt Canada maybe was not all that receptive to Najee's suggestion. So it is a weird situation for sure. But I do like your bet here. I think Jaylen Warren is kind of pulled into at least a dead heat with Najee as far as usage. It's a split backfield now. So 6.5 or 7.5, those are pretty low bars.
Yeah. Chargers on the road at Kansas City. The number now has crept up to 6. So if you're looking to tease this down and take Kansas City, you can do that without crossing 0. Again, a total that was 52 and now is down to 48 here. I have a prop bet on this, but I don't know what to do with this number, Pat. I mean, this feels like take the Chargers to me, but I don't know if I want to go against the Chiefs at home.
I know, and this one had stayed so steady at 5.5. I don't know if it creeping up to 6 is enough to push me into the Chargers camp, Matt. And it's interesting, the Chargers have lost 4 of their last 6 against the Chiefs, but they've covered in 5 of those 6 games. So they have a knack for playing the Chiefs close. If you forced me to play this one, I would probably put money on the Chargers. But I don't feel good about it to actually put money on this game.
The running back spot for the Chargers is so wild because I feel like Justin Herbert's the best back that they've got. So I'm going to play over 3.5 rushing attempts for Justin Herbert, either scrambling or just trying to pick up first downs because I don't know what to do. People have talked about just if they could run the ball, they would be an unbelievable offense. This is all Justin Herbert to me. I mean, they've got injuries, obviously, to their wide receivers. They've had injuries to their running backs. How do you feel about Herbert over 3.5 carry or attempts today rushing the football?
Yeah, that's an interesting play. I sort of like that idea. And considering the Chiefs' pass rush is decent, they might be able to force him into some sort of unscripted scrambles.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get called. Right. I think it's going to be just running for his life because there's a good chance that he's going to have to get away from the pass rush from the Chiefs and they get upfield too much and Herbert can take advantage of it. Because I don't know. I'd be very curious. This game should go over, but again, I'm not positive that we're going to see a ton of offense just because it's a divisional game and these games tend to lean to the under when you have teams playing against each other that know each other quite well. Let's see. The next game, 2 more. This one, I don't know if I could be paid to watch it. Green Bay is at Denver. Numbers 1. It's still 1. Green Bay somehow is favored. Total was 45.5 at open. It's 44 now. If you're betting this game, bravo, because I have no idea what to do with this. Do you know what side do you like between Denver and Green Bay?
Nope. I'm a Packers fan, Matt. I have no feel for this. I'm staying completely away. I don't have a feel for a side. I don't have a feel for a total. Denver's been terrible, but the Packers haven't been very impressive either. I mean, they just lost to the Raiders in a game where they probably had more fans in,
Fair.
Las Vegas than the Raiders had. So I don't want to touch this.
I can tell you right now, the Raiders need to be careful because the Aces just went back-to-back in the WNBA championship. The Golden Knights just won the Stanley Cup, and they're one of the top teams again. Raiders are you don't hear people talking too much about the Raiders around here. This is not good for the Raiders. It's oh yeah, the Raiders are playing who? It's more of a talk of the opponent. Like the Jets are coming in here, the Giants are coming in here. Like there's excitement for those teams coming here, not for the home team and the Raiders playing at Allegiant. That is not what you want. Yeah. And then finally, game of the day. We finally get a Sunday night game that's worth something. Miami on the road at Philadelphia. Number is ticked up to 3 here for the Eagles. Good total. 52.5 at open, 52.5 right now. Where are you going on who's winning, Eagles, Dolphins, over or under?
I'm going with the Dolphins, Matt.
Ooh,
I'm not playing the total. I think the total is pretty spot on. But I mean, look, DVOA, Massey, Peabody, pretty much any power index of any sort, the Dolphins are ranked ahead of the Eagles right now. Yeah. And I think after the Dolphins laid an egg against the Bills in week 3, when that was supposed to be their big prove it game, and they lost 44-20, I think that game was. Yeah, I think they're going to be a little bit more ready to play this game. Like, I think this game is going to have their full attention. And, even though I don't like betting against the Eagles when they're coming off that loss, but we also have not seen the Eagles offense clicking to the extent that it did last season. So I don't know if they can hang with the Dolphins if this does turn into a shootout. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the Dolphins. I think Jalen Hurts' play is concerning. I mean, just looking at him and A.J. Brown, they haven't been nearly as explosive together. The running game is okay, but Jalen's making mistakes. He's turning the ball over. He's throwing into coverage. And yes, that defense is phenomenal for the Eagles, but their secondary can be exploited at times. And I think that's where the Dolphins get after it, obviously. So I love your read on the fact that they weren't ready for the Bills game and they will be ready for this game, because let's be honest. I mean, Tua and company, they're still trying to learn how to be an elite team and be one of the hunted in the NFL. They're used to chasing the Patriots and the Bills. Now teams are chasing them. So how do they handle all this prosperity? Well, they didn't do well on the road at Buffalo. Now on the road against Philadelphia, against the Eagles. I tend to lean towards the under. When we're talking about prime times at 52.5, but I'm with you. I don't feel comfortable enough to bet it. It's more of an in-game that I want to watch a little bit just to see if we're scoring maybe fast and we get like a 58, 59, 60 to play under that, because I do think the scoring will slow down as the game goes on. But I mean, anytime you've got Hill and you've got these receivers and Waddle and whatnot, they can score fast. In A.J. Brown's same situation, maybe he goes off tonight for the Eagles. So I'm a little hesitant to say bet the under at 2.5, even though the numbers tell you not just primetime unders, but NFL games this year and the last couple of years, when it gets over 52, bet under. Really, it rarely goes over 52 for that. So I'm with you. I like the Dolphins, and then maybe an in-game play to come on with what you do with the total. We missed one of your prop bets, Pat, right? Because we got your Cooper Kupp over 91.5. And there's 2 we missed.
2 quick ones. Yeah. Okay. Kenneth Walker over 79.5 rushing yards. That one has moved up a little as the week's gone on. I'd bet this one up to 80.5. Like Zach Charbonnet banged up, might not play today. Like the Cardinals run defense has just been atrocious. They gave up like 100 yards to Kyron Williams just in the second half last week against the Rams. So I think it's just going to be a heavy dose of Walker today, who I believe has had 17 or more carries in like 3 straight games. So yeah, I think the usage just dictates a big game for Kenneth Walker today. And the other one is Jacoby Myers under 48.5 receiving yards. having a terrific season and has shown excellent chemistry with Jimmy G. Jimmy likes to get the ball out quickly. That really suits Jacoby Myers, but I don't know if he's going to have the same chemistry with Brian Hoyer. And
Right.
plus we heard Devontae Adams complaining about not getting enough targets. This could be a squeaky wheel game for Adams, which probably necessarily would mean fewer targets for Jacoby Myers. So that seems like too high a bar for Jacoby Myers this week.
All right. Before we get out of here, let's see if I can find a Wong teaser here on the early slate. Are you really going to hate Giants +9, Falcons +9?
I don't hate it. I mean, I could see it going awry, Matt, but I think it's a reasonable play.
Because I'm nervous about the Lions. Like I could tease the Lions up +9. I'm on the Ravens -3, so I could technically come in trying to middle it with the Ravens winning by 6 or 7. But I have a worry. Jared Goff, I know he's playing so well. I know what Jared Goff saying. I don't know. Can the Lions lose by 10?
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I think I'd rather take the Giants. It's hard to see the Commanders going into like beating anyone by double digits on the road. It's hard to imagine. I mean, the Giants have been bad enough where that's the open door that they just can't block the front seven for the Commanders, and that's how it goes awry, I guess. But
I'm gonna back Desmond Ridder on the road, really? My gosh, that's just there really is not. This is what happens when you get to these small slates. We only have 5 games in the 1 o'clock window Eastern time. That is not ideal. Oh, 6 games. 6 games. That is not ideal. But because of the movement on Cleveland, I was planning on taking the Colts and having them go up, but the Colts now are at 3.5, so we're no longer qualifying for a long teaser here with the Colts because of what's happened here with Cleveland. The line movement has pushed it over 3, which is pretty significant from a book perspective. All right, Wong teaser. We're gonna do it. Hold our nose. We're taking the Giants +9 and taking the Falcons +9. I'm already regretting it as is. I've hit 3 straight. So we're 3-3 on the year with the Wong teaser. Opened up 0-3, hit our last 3. So just to recap the plays for us here, for me, it's Ravens -3, under 41 for the Browns, Bears +9, Bills -1.5 for my personal teaser. The Wong teaser is Giants +9 and the Falcons +9. I like Justin Herbert to go over 3.5 rushing attempts, Cole Kmet over 3.5 receptions, Jalen Warren over 7.5 rushing attempts, and Josh Allen over 22.5 completions. Yes, overs are always deadly when it comes to prop betting, but that's where I am with that. Pat's going with the Buccaneers -2.5 over the Falcons. So let's see if hopefully your Bucks just win by 3. Steelers +3 over the Rams, the Lions, and the Ravens under 43, which I like a lot. I love the Cooper Kupp play. Kupp over 91.5. Kenneth Walker over 79.5 rushing yards, and Jacoby Myers going under 48.5 receiving yards here. What's the biggest shock to you today? If something happens, what's going to grab you? What's going to be the biggest shock?
Man, I would say, Matt, if the Falcons went in and beat the Bucs, like I just can't see the Falcons winning that game in Tampa today.
Yeah,
I just
for me, I think you're right on that. For me, I think it comes down to whether or not we see the Cardinals show up or not. The Cardinals beat the Seahawks. I just can't see it. Not in Seattle, not with the 12th man. Covering, I can see him covering, but I can't see them. I can't see the Seahawks losing that game.
Yeah, I could see the back door being open on that one, but hard to imagine the Cardinals winning outright. Pray for our survivor pools that does not happen.
Absolutely. Guys, if you have not downloaded the BettingPros app yet, go do so. This is where I find all my prop bets because the prop bet cheat sheet's phenomenal. NBA season is about to start. It has an awesome cheat sheet for the NBA, which I use every day when it comes to betting NBA prop bets. Download it for free in the App Store or the Google Play Store. You can view your performance across sports, bet types, and books. You can sync your books right to the application. So when you make bets on those books, it records it and tracks it. This is what luckily Betting Pros does for me with the Daily Juice, but you can do it as well with the Betting Pros app. Follow other users to tail their bets, or you can also stack up your betting instincts to see how they're going up against others. Download the Betting Pros app right now before you get to the late games, even the early games, to make plays here for week number 7. Pat, great to see you. Good stuff. Best of luck on your plays. Thank you for being a part of this. It's always appreciated. I know you're very busy on this Sunday morning. For Pat, I'm Matt. We're back next week for week 8 for the Betting Pros live stream here on the Betting Pros YouTube channel.